Okay, so let's talk about Knock at the Cabin. Knock at the Cabin is just released this weekend, and it is based on a book called The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. Now, the movie and the book differ in their respective endings and also some of the things that happen, but we're here just to talk about the ending. I have not read the book, but I read about the ending, and I find it curious how they changed the ending, so we're going to talk about that. Before we get any further, hit that notification button up here and subscribe button down here. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. So pretty much, let's set up the premise for this movie and this book. You have four strangers that go to terrorize this family in the cabin that they are staying in for their vacation, and it is a same-sex couple, Eric and Andrew, with their adoptive daughter Wen, and now they have to make a choice according to the strangers. You must sacrifice somebody in your family in order to prevent the apocalypse. And so, of course, anybody who hears this would say, "Y'all are insane. We're not doing this." But the strangers say, "Every time you say no to us, we are going to kill one of ourselves, and then a plague will be unleashed on humanity, whether it's a viral outbreak, tsunamis, or planes crashing from the sky, to ultimately a fiery Armageddon for Earth." And so now the couple has to sort of make a choice of what to do. Do they believe these strangers, or do they try to find a way out? Because these people are very menacing indeed. Now, where does the book differ from the movie itself? So the book is a little bleaker and a little darker. So let's talk about what exactly is different in the book's ending. In the book's ending, we actually see that Wen is killed, but not as a sacrifice. She is accidentally killed. So in the movie and in the book, Andrew makes a break for it to try and get his gun in order to get a hold on the situation. Ultimately, he does kill a stranger, although it's different from the book and the movie which stranger that is. But then a scuffle does ensue with Leonard, who is played by Batista. This happens in both the book and the movie. Now, during this scuffle in the movie, nothing happens after this. Leonard just says, "You have to make a choice. That's all I'm going to tell you. I am the final stranger, and if you don't, then after I die, then the plagues and everything, Armageddon, is unleashed on Earth." Now, in the book, during this scuffle, Leonard and Andrew are fighting over the gun, and then the gun goes off, and who gets shot is actually Wen. Wen then dies, and this doesn't count as a sacrifice. Her death is accidental, and it doesn't count as a sacrifice. So Armageddon and the apocalypse is still on. And so now the couple is left with a choice to make as to what do they do now. Their daughter is dead. They decide not to kill one another or sacrifice one another. And so the stranger just kills himself, and he is the final one. So Armageddon is now unleashed on Earth. It's not entirely implied if this is the truth or not, as the fathers don't care. They were not going to let one of themselves just be alone on the Earth after all of this traumatic events that just unfolded. They decide to take their daughter's body with them and drive off into the sunset to whatever it may be. Now, in the movie itself, we see that they make it all the way to the end without Wen dying. Wen is then told to go to the treehouse when the final stranger is about to kill himself. After he kills himself, however, the other father realizes, which is Eric, that this may be all true. There is actually something more divine going on here than any of them would have expected. And Eric feels he is at the most peace that he's ever been. He feels he sensed the aura that the strangers brought with them, and he believes them in some shape, way, or form that he saw something and felt something during this whole process, and he wants to be the one that gets sacrificed. Andrew, of course, has always been against this. He never believed them for once, but he believes what Eric believes, and so we see that Eric is ultimately the one that gets sacrificed. We then see Andrew go get Wen from the treehouse as they go and drive into town in the stranger's pickup truck, where they see that the strangers weren't lying about their lives. One of them actually had a son, one of them was actually a nurse, and the other was actually a teacher. And of course, this ultimately leads Andrew to wonder why they would ever have lied about any of this. As they arrive into town, into a diner, they see all of the apocalypse plagues have stopped. The viral outbreak is done. There's no more tsunamis. Planes aren't flying out of the sky, and there isn't these fiery lightning bolts being thrown on Earth. Everything is calm now. Him and Wen decide to go back into the pickup truck. When they turn it on, their song is playing, the one that they would sing with Eric, and it sort of feels like a coincidence that this song would be playing. And in my interpretation for the ending, I felt it felt more like, could everything have been a coincidence? But that's more my ending explained. Go check that out. So the difference in the book and the movie is very big, because in the movie you have Gwen surviving, you have the whole thing with the apocalypse feeling more like concrete, that there was actually an apocalypse happening and that they actually did prevent the apocalypse with their sacrifice. Whereas in the book it's a little bleaker, dark, and more open to interpretation, where Gwen is dead and her sacrifice was accidental, so it didn't count. You have the fathers choosing not to sacrifice one another, and you have an ending that doesn't really tell you if the apocalypse was real or not. Depending on the type of person you are, you might like one or the other, but I think it made more sense to go with the movie ending. I think that studios, Hollywood movies in general, do want people to leave the movies going with a more hopeful outlook on life. And of course, the ending of Knock at the Cabin is tragic, depressing, all of that, but at the end of the day, it feels hopeful, it feels emotional, and I think that's exactly what the studios wanted people to go out with. Not saying that the book ending is bad, but it is definitely a lot more bleaker and dark, and something that I don't think the studio wanted. But that's just my thoughts, my opinion. That's the book ending versus the book movie ending. Let me know what you think about it down below. Like I said, I think the movie ending made more sense, although I do think that the book ending isn't bad at all. I definitely find it interesting, and it makes me want to read the book just to see it all unfold throughout the pages, and I definitely might be picking up the book just to check it out. But let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Which ending would you have preferred? Do you think the book ending is the one they should have gone with the movie, or do you think the movie ending was the best choice in like choosing what ending to go with? I'm very curious to know your thoughts and opinions on it, because it is a fascinating thing when things get changed, and I think that was such a big thing to change for sure. But anyways, as always, that's going to do it for me. Check out my other Knock at the Cabin videos. I have a review and I have an ending explained. I want to make a video talking more about the themes with the Four Horsemen and all of that, so if you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. But like I said, we are still trying to find a horror movie. Go check it out in the Indiegogo link down below in the description, as well as our Patreon we have right now. So join if you want some more lives and videos that you probably won't get here on YouTube. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers, less than 4,000 to go. Super excited to get to that, and we have a ton of videos coming out for you this week, as well as on our website, and also our new podcast we just launched, which you'll find on the community tab later. We might do a live tonight, so stay tuned for that, talking more about Knock at the Cabin and anything else you want to talk about horror related. But as always, that is going to do it for me. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive. But yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you check out our Patreon down below. We are currently trying to make some more content for the channel. We are doing our podcast, all of that, but Patreon really is a way for us to be able to do more and be able to expand as much as we want to expand. Running a small team on this is definitely a hard obstacle, but it's one that I think we can definitely get over, and the Patreon is just one of those things that help us get over that. So we will have live shows, we will have videos just for Patreon members, so go check it out. It's in the description, and really appreciate you making it all the way to the end. And don't forget to follow us everywhere on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. Our website, cultureelixir.com. But yeah, really appreciate you, and as always, stay safe, stay positive.